Welcome back, everybody. Canadian Silver Saver here, and today's Silver Hunt Sunday I'm going to be featuring some wonderful Canadian poured silver by Beaver Bullion. So as you all know, I'm a big fan of Beaver Bullion. He's a good friend of mine now after working together for just over a year now, and he's making some wonderful new products. But something here I want to feature today is some classic Beaver Bullion, and this is what I pick up and what I add to my stack when I'm adding weight, and I just want to pick up some poured silver and support my local silver pourer. So let's get right to it here. It's not a whole lot of featuring today, but you'll see the Beaver Bullion 1 ounce poured bars here. So you've got Beaver Bullion logo, nice classic. It's got the textured back to it because of the way it's pressed. And we've seen in one of my previous videos, a couple of my previous videos, how these are stamped in the machine there. So I definitely encourage you to check out those videos where you can see. So there's 1 ounce there. Then I picked up a 2nd ounce. This one's got a little bit more of the texture on the back, which is cool. It's my favorite part, actually. One of my favorite signature parts of his bars. And then 3 there. A bit more texture there as well. So the 3 of them, they stack nicely, they look great. Nice to have a handful of these in the stack as well. And so when it comes down to poured silver, I've had this question asked a little bit, and I have tried to answer it on my channel. But basically, people ask, why do I like poured silver versus something like, say, a maple or a silver eagle or anything like that? And it's not a case of, I think one is, the best above all the rest when it comes down to which is better to have in your stack. I think it's good to diversify and have fun with it. But when you're buying silver for weight, you want to try and get it as low cost as possible. And I do find that a lot of the poured silver like this is great for getting low costs, low premiums on it, but I'm also supporting something locally. So think of it this way. Think of it when people talk about foods and farmers and local community shops and the little knick-knack shop down the street that's run by the family, the local coffee shops and things like that. If you can support those people, you're supporting local community, local businesses, and you're really helping them provide for their own lives and families. And I think that's what I try to do when I'm buying things like this. I know that the silver pourers out there, they're doing something with a passion, they're doing something that they love. At the same time, they need to put bread on the table, they need to put food in their families' bellies. And by me buying a couple of these versus maybe buying a couple of maples, or a couple of eagles or anything like that, I'm able to not only add to my stack at a great value, but also help my local silver pourers, my friendly neighborhood silver artists. Now, just since we're here and we're talking about it a little bit, I do have some pieces handy, and so here's a maple. Here's where we're talking about something else that you could buy. Now, this one happens to be in a mint sleeve, so it's going to hold a bit more of a premium. And you'll see it's actually in beautiful shape, 2004. But a maple like this is more recognizable around the world, and so is an eagle. So people will talk about these pieces and why maybe you want to grab these. And a lot of people will just buy tubes and tubes of these, or buy these as they can on the cheap, because they are wonderful pieces of silver. But there's worldwide recognized. So if you walk in somewhere around the world with an eagle, they recognize what it is. I'd say the Canadian maple is probably the second most recognized, right? So, and let's talk about these because I have them here, and I love my Mexican silver. So here's an onza, or a Libertad. People call them onzas, but one onza. And a big fan of the Mexican silver. And Mexico is one of the largest silver producers in the world, so they have a lot coming out of there. So, but these pieces here are great for weight. Usually you can get them at a fairly good low premium. Maybe not the Libertads the same, the older ones. But you go around the world and people are going to recognize what these are a lot more easily than maybe something like this. And that's just by the nature of what people understand when it comes to coins and bullion over the years. Poured silver still gives you a great way to add to your stack. But you may have to do a bit more testing with it, or a little bit more convincing when it comes down to it, if you're not going to the right place. Now, for me, my exit strategy with this stuff is when it comes down to where I need to cash some of the low-cost silver in like this stuff, whether it's a down payment for a house, I've got some major bill that surprised me out of nowhere that I don't want to tap into the cash flow the same way, and I'm basically trying to hedge against inflation. Remember, that's a big focus of silver and gold, so we're trying to hedge against inflation, and this allows me to put some savings aside while I'm collecting, because that's a big part of what I'm doing that fulfills a part of my life that I need fulfilled while building wealth for my future. And then when I take these in later, I take them down to my local coin shop. They're going to give me spot value for this or these here, and therefore the lowest premium I can pay, the better. Not everywhere is going to give you the same premiums, maybe on these, because they don't recognize it. So you have to make sure you're hitting up the right places. But on the private market, people that truly understand this, especially if it's local, so for Canada, everybody in Canada recognizes Beaver Bullion now, it's not a problem at all. And my also recommendation is try to stay 10 ounces or lower when you're stacking for weight. That's entirely up to you if that's what you want to do, but the reason for me that I find 10 ounces or lower is much easier to cash in at the LCS or even privately, just based on people's cash flow and trust of what's inside that bar. Once you get over 10 ounce bars, once you start getting big chunky bars, 100-ounce bars even, they start to put a little bit of a red flag for people. They want to either drill into them or test them if they don't have the big fancy testers to be able to get the composition of the metals inside. So they'll drill into it, and becomes a bit of a process. And then on top of that, it's a business that they're running. So if you take that into an LCS or a jeweler that does give you spot on these pieces, they're not going to give you spot on a big giant bar, really, because the closer to spot it is, or the larger the bar, the closer to spot they have to sell it. That's what you expect when you're shopping. So remember that the next customer that wants that bar you sold to them, they're going to have that same mentality. I'm buying a larger bar, so where's my discount for buying that larger bar? So you take that big bar into the store, they're going to give you below spot for that large bar, because as the market fluctuates and as customers come in, they know they've got to sell it for less of a premium than if you walk in with smaller bars like this. 1 ounce coins, 1 ounce bars, 5 ounce, 10 ounce, they make a good premium on those usually, that they'll give you spot price for it if it's most places and they're not a shady business. So keep that in mind. If you're taking stuff in like this and they won't give you spot for it, look around, because they're really not doing things the right way. So. But that's kind of my 2 cents worth on what it comes down to, why I buy this stuff, the weights that I like to buy, and what I like to focus on. Everybody does things their own way, and we're not talking about collectibles. We're not talking about high premium coins that might hold a value, or coins you think that are going to hold value later, such as the swans or pandas or anything like that people, or the history tends to show that there may be a premium afforded on those later on. Those are the types of coins that I like to sell and convert, where I can flip them, take the profits off of those coins and rounds and bars and whatever it may be, and turn that into sheer weight. So I'll sell the premium, take that premium, put it back into weight, take the profits from that premium, put it aside until I can spend all the profits from maybe flipping a few different premium coins into getting myself more weight. So basically turning 1 ounce into 2, and that's the idea. So yeah, it's a great way to do it. I have fun doing it, and I hope everybody out there has a bit of a strategy and a plan as to why they do it. Don't get me wrong, I think if you like silver and you want to add it to your stack, go ahead, as long as it makes sense and it has the right value to it and it means something to you. But have a plan, have a strategy, and share it down below, everybody. So let's get some dialogue and some conversation going. I've been a little bit absent in my chatting lately, and I'll explain that in an upcoming video. It's a little bit of a private thing going on in my life right now, but I'd love to see some comments and some conversation going below as to what you like to add to your stack and what your strategy is for the different parts of your stack. Do you have stack just for weight? Do you have stack for collectibles? Are you building wealth for the future? Or is this really just a way for you to save money because you're bad at it, and this way you can make some purchases while putting money aside? So let me know in the comments below, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out again today. I really enjoy doing these videos for you. It's a lot of fun and I love the feedback. If you did like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. It really does help get them out there. Share them on social media. That's a big help as well. Head on over to my website, because I've got wonderful products available there from local community pours, some of the small guys out there who really need to get recognized, and of course Beaver Bullion. Hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell and you won't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Thanks everybody, and we will talk to you soon.